all your hard work's paid off because that's what you work towards all week. And then when the game comes on the Saturday, you have to go and prove that you can get the 3 points, and they have done over the last two games. But as you've just touched on there, I think bar the first half against Crewe and the Cheltenham game, I think we've played well in games. I think we've done well, especially with the opposition. If you see where all the opposition is sitting now, it's a tough start of the season. And we've done all right. We've come out of it okay, but the end of the day is you can only do what you can do and play the team in front of you. And the past two games, the lads have done that and done it really well.
You've experienced certainly coaching, if not managing, at all kinds of different levels with all kinds of different level of players. How much does confidence make a difference to players who aren't at the top level, perhaps? Is there a difference sometimes between guys who've got there and made it to the top and guys who are aspiring to get there in terms of what a win means?
Yeah, the confidence is massive. You can see the difference at the different levels. I mean, when you're working with Premiership players, Championship players, you can see that they can perform consistently well. And, results, negative results, or you've lost the game, whatever that is, they can go and produce the next game and get the results. I think it's a little bit harder as you go down the levels. I think they have to work harder. They make probably more mistakes. They're not consistent enough. And it shows that when you are consistent enough at any level, then you can get results. You can pick points up, and the confidence is massive. And as I said, the more that the lads believe in that and take what they've just done Saturday and following Saturday with back-to-back wins, then confidence grows, and you can see it on the training grounds. You can see the mood. You can see everything change. But we've kept that anyway. We've kept that side to keep that going because we've had that. Been a little dip, as you said, with the two games that we saw of the first half of Crewe and the Cheltenham game, which we weren't happy about. But we know what we've got, and everyone's confidence is really high at the moment.
Do you think, in some ways, that consistency thing explains why we see streaky teams lower down the divisions, where you might go a while without winning, and then you might go a while unbeaten, and then sometimes it flips round again? What can you put that down to? Because I think last year paralleled what's happened to you this year. You waited a while for your first win and then won 3 on the spin, I think it was last year, and you've won 2 on the spin this time.
Well, that's it. Again, it is the consistency. So it's the levels, and everyone finds the level, whether it's Premiership, Championship, League One, League Two, Conference. People find the levels, and people who can perform and do things consistently well above the level, all go up. So, and obviously everyone wants to aim as high as they can, which is the Premiership, and lads have got dreams at this club that they want to play as high as possible, and we won't stand in the way. We're here to help them. I think the more you come down the levels, I think the more you've got to coach, the more you've got to help people out, the more you've got to do things off the pitch in terms of your clips, individual clips, team clips, the lot. So you've got to work a lot harder as the more you come down the levels. But as I said, the lads that we've got, we can only focus on the lads that we have within the dressing room, at the club, who we've brought to the club, and we know what we've brought. So, we know there's room for development and growth there, and they're showing that now.
I spoke to Scott Parker recently, who talked about turning dad mode on as a manager and a coach, and some of these guys who he's managing have got an age profile similar to his own kids, and there's an element to which you're invested in them as people. I wonder if that's the case across the board for management. And when I see things like, we talked about Isaac Sinclair scoring his first league goals, now Charlie Caton's got his first league goal, is there a sort of sense of fatherly pride about that because you've invested so much in these guys?
It is. I always touch on it. I've got 2 sons myself, one's married, got their own lives and stuff and jobs and what have you. So, I know what it's like. So I know what it's like to care for people. I know what it's like to manage people. I know what it's like to coach people. And there's a lot of things that go on off the pitch where players, fans don't see. So we invest a lot of time and effort into the players, and they do themselves, and they get all the joy and rewards on the pitch when they do the job really well. And it is that. It's been a father figure. It's been whatever you want to be, a counsellor, you want whatever hat you want to put on it. But it's not just what people see on a Saturday. You pick a team and you just go out and play the game. There's a lot goes into it all week, during the game and after the game, and then the Sunday as well. So it doesn't just finish on Saturday. You go home, that's it. You might put your feet up for a few hours and then Sunday morning you get up and you're on to the next. Well, before you move on to the next, you're on to the next bit in terms of sending lads clips, sending lads the games, speaking to lads who might have had a little knock, speaking to the medical side of things, speaking to everyone really. And then you move on. On the Monday, you go into your next game. But it's just, there's a lot of things that goes into it. And you could say you are a father figure to most of the whole squad because you're there for everyone to lean onto.
Does it make it easier then, given that you're putting so much in and perhaps you don't have as much support in terms of a large backroom staff that you might have at a club further up the pyramid? Does it help when you're winning?
It definitely helps when you're winning. But I think the bigger you get, what bigger clubs have seen. I've seen like clubs have massive departments all over the place and everyone invests and there's a lot of money comes in. So you can have an analyst department, so you can have 5 or 6 people in there and then everyone's got an opinion. And I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but we like what we've got here. We like what we do. Me and Jed go out to a head of recruitment, to video analysis. We do everything, me and Jed, and we love it. We wouldn't change that. And it's just adds another string to your bow in terms of, your skill set. So we like doing it. The lads like us doing it. The lads get the messages across. We ask the lads for feedback. Is that clear? Could we do it a different way? It's not just, we just say, this is our way and this is way. At times it can be. But in terms of the video analysis stuff and it's a two-way thing.
As far as this game is concerned, Walsall clearly provide a stern test for you. They're on a bit of an unbeaten run. They're one of the teams that are up there. What are your thoughts on the job Matt Sadler's doing and how they've done this season?
He's done a great job. They were missed out last year. Everyone knew that, and they've responded really well. I think he's recruited really well, Matt. I think it'll be a tough game. They've got some really big players. Adam Presley was here. He's done really well for them. Aidan Flint's, they've signed him. So they've signed some good players. They've signed Berg from Chester, centre-back. So, we know it's going to be a tough ask. Matt always sets his teams up really well. They can play football at times. They can go long. They can hit a target man. So we're looking forward to all the challenges. And they've started really well. But we'll, as I said, the confidence and what we've done on the past few games now will put us in good stead going forward.
They were in contention, as you say, last season. You were unbeaten against them, kept 2 clean sheets, won at their place. Does that make any difference? Does that have any bearing on this one?
Not really, no, because every game's different. I mean, they might approach it differently. As I said, they've got different players. We'll have a game plan, which we've worked on this week, and we'll continue this morning. We're going to training fields, but it's going to be another tough game. Everything that we've done last season in terms of the 2 clean sheets, it was in the past. So we got what we got then. We got the 4 points we got. So now it's what are we going to do next? So that's the challenge. That's the challenge for all of us, not just for this game, for the games coming forward as well.
And just in terms of what you've got available to you, forgive me if you've already talked about this, but what's the situation with Kelsey Mooney? Has there been a confirmation there of an extent of his injury and his layoff?
Yeah, he's ACL, so basically he's in a brace for a couple of weeks. He's got to settle down, and then they're going to do an operation on his leg. But he's in good spirits. He was in yesterday. He got around the lads were all around him, so it was great to see him. We're here to support him and his family, and he's in good spirits at the minute. So yeah, so that's the diagnosis with Kelsey.
Clearly, that's a very long-term one, but I've noticed when you have fairly long-term ones, there's a conscious effort to try and keep them involved, to try and keep them around and in the changing room and travelling with you even sometimes. Is that just making them feel still part of it? Because I know there are horror stories of old of players, if you're injured, you're kind of out of sight and out of mind. Is it a conscious effort not to do that?
Well, you're right, because it goes back to being dad mode, whatever mode you want, or that you want to stick on top of your head. Is that basically, me and Jed went round and seen him, after training. So the training ground's not far from where he lives. We'll call in as often as we can. We'll see him. He knows we're at the end of the phone, whatever he needs. He might need just a pint of milk or whatever it is. Anything, we'll get it. We're here to support him. Touched on before about having my family man. I've got my own kids myself, or grown men if you like, but. So we're here. It's a long-term injury for him. He'll battle back. He's done it before. He'll do it again. But we're here. So that's the other side that people don't see from the staff, from us, from the medical, from everyone at the club.
And just lastly, is there any difference in terms of the squad you've got available for this weekend? Then anything changed this week, good or otherwise?
Just probably Tyler, we'll have to see how he is. And then, as I said, we'll have a medical meeting this morning and have a look at him. He's probably the only doubt.